If wars can be started by lies, peace can be started by truth. Julian Assange. Hello, folks. It's been a while, huh? Just thought I'd do this since I seem to do it every time. Yep, again, you guys can come in if you want. If you don't have to. I'm a glutton for punishment. Even trolls, you may come on in. I like trolls. And agents too. Not all agents are bad. You're for the system. You'll be for the next system too. A better one. How about that? Let's see. Sorry, I'm just kind of looking at Discord while I'm doing this. It was a pretty lengthy online vigil for this third one. It's great. One of the things I like seeing are people who are capable, like the Fango, showing up and helping out. And I also love it when there are people that are really new to the technical side of things or something like that, live streaming, and not really familiar with it. Just give them the reins and they're good to go. David S is one of them. It's like, bye David. This is it's all you. And yeah, not only is he doing videos, he's doing streams too. So it's a big help from David S. I mean, a lot of people do so much work, and I feel bad because for me, family's first. So weekends, I really have to make sure I spend time for my wife and my kids. But I wanted to make sure that I got everything set up for the stream. If I'm not there to stream it, like until the first break, everything was on my main computer. Then I said, this won't work. So I set up a separate computer for streaming, for Stream PC, so people can VPN in and work the stream. Let's see. So there's a couple of things that's gonna happen, and wait a second. All right. And one more thing. All right, so that's it. Oh, pins. Good amount of guests too, and good amount of other people who are on Discord helping out. That's always refreshing to see. And I was joking earlier, after the stream was ended, we just kind of have a little quick go over on things, and I was saying how... Oh, Ryan. Hey, how's it going, Ryan? I was saying how these 50-hour streams, it's so draining and tough.
Hey, how you going, man?
Good.
How's things?
Good. I was just saying how these vigils are so long and draining that we're not looking forward to the next one, and which should be true. We shouldn't be looking forward for the next online vigil because that means he's in there for another month. But I don't know. Things are looking bad as far as what might be coming.
Yeah, it's not good, man.
Yeah.
It's not good.
But yeah, and the help is pretty good. it's funny when like people are really worried about not getting something done, and it's just it's a volunteer movement. What if people
Exactly.
had this much, I mean, motivation for just the work that they do? I don't think they do, but they'd be really high in their profession. But like when I see work, no one really is excited about, hey, give me this stuff so I can work on it right away. They're just like, yeah, just send it to me, whatever, and then they'll check their Facebook while they're at work or something.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard, man. It's hard getting a volunteer movement up and running.
Yeah.
Because people need to support themselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good thing I don't have anything to do right now. I do have a lot of things to do. But I feel like this is something that we just need to do. And even besides this, it's just getting people familiar with and trained on how to just do these live streams and how to do. I think a lot of people are starting to do live streams, but they just kind of sit there and they just talk. They don't do a lot of transitions. And then there are some who are just like Defango. If you watch his channel, he's just got the green screen, he's got the numbers, he's got stuff sharing on his desktop, and he goes full bore. And I think that's why it's great, because you can have someone with being able to do things on the fly like that live. And then there's just live streams. Yeah, most live streams, they're just talking. They don't have anything really going on in their live streams. They're just in front of the camera. But people who pre-record, they do a lot of stuff within their videos. So it's not a big transition from making your own pre-recorded videos to upload than is going live.
Well, I did a thumbnail for Defango. Did you see it?
I was on your channel and I saw some of it. I didn't see the final product.
Let me bring it up and I'll show you. For some reason, my Microsoft image thing doesn't like to work. For some reason. I don't know why. Whenever I go to look at an image.
Yeah, it's Microsoft for you.
There it is.
What's the image type?
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Nice.
So Defango, he did the image of him in a spacesuit, and I just did a Google search.
Yeah.
And I thought, that'd be cool to use that behind, because it was just going to be black. And I thought, that's a really cool image. I'll take it into Illustrator. I'll pull it apart and I'll trace it and stuff like that. And like everything's black and white except for the badges and the flag, but everything else is black and white, and you've got the thing over the top. So yeah, I did that for him, so he can use that on his, if he wants. He doesn't have to. There's no, but yeah. So when he has his thumbnails, on YouTube, he can have that instead of just a random picture that YouTube picks out of the video. So
you should make one for me. Instead of on planet Earth, do on Earth, but just before it, just put in flat Earth. Just kidding.
I would have put North Korea.
Oh, from North Korea. Okay, that works too.
I would have changed the flag from an American flag on the shoulder pads and the flag in the background to a North Korean flag.
Yep.
And then done it that way. No, I'll let me think about yours. Yours is a little bit different. I'm going to do yours. If I do one for you, I want it to be a little bit different.
I'm not really looking for the comedic factor. A lot of the stuff that I like doing is just more uplifting. I want people to not fear showing themselves or saying what they want to say, doing things that are good for humanity and not illegal at all. I mean, we're getting to the point where doing good is actually illegal.
Yeah, I
Isn't
know.
that crazy?
It's ridiculous. It's fucked up. So, yeah, and I mean, even here in Australia, man, they're doing some fucked up shit. This guy on who basically says Hitler is one of his what do you call it? What did he say? Hitler is someone he looks up to.
Oh.
So,
Oh.
politically and just on the level of common sense, they're not really popular at the moment. So, yeah, it's a shifting tide in Australia at the moment. So, we don't know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's going to have his followers. You know, there's always going to be those idiots that wear the Australian flag as a cape and on a hat and on a T-shirt and all this others, and get a Southern Cross tattoo and all this other type of shit.
Yeah.
But, I mean, somebody like that shouldn't be getting airtime, no matter how freedom of speech works. Anybody.
I know. You don't know what their position is. I'd rather have someone with a position that's in public stating exactly what position they're for than someone who's in the back room in power. You don't know what their positions are. You don't know if they're lying to you or not. I'd rather have.
But we already knew what his position was. He's been saying it since 2013.
Yeah.
So
that's a good thing.
You know. So it's not as if they didn't know. Yeah, but I mean, saying that you're aligned with the Nazis is and their ideology and getting airtime is one thing. Saying it out in public and airing your free right to free speech is one thing, but being on TV and then airing that view on TV is another. So,
I think it's fine. I mean, people have to be exposed to it to make a decision on it.
Yeah, but I just think that's a road.
Would you rather have him actually get elected to office and no one said anything, or he didn't say anything about it, and then finally people realize when he's in office, hey, this guy's like a Nazi?
Yeah, I don't think he would get. He might get in office. If Pauline Hanson can get in office, he can get in office. I don't think there's any sort of difference between him and Pauline Hanson. So, which is scary, which is really scary. I understand that, like, he should be allowed to say what he wants, where he wants, to who he wants. But, I mean, yeah, I don't know. The Nazi thing is just too close to home for me. With my grandparents and stuff. So, I mean, yeah. It'd be like North Korea with your Korean War with your family.
I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't really think about it much. Because Korea has a bad history against China as well as Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And my father had just great animosity towards any Japanese or Chinese person, and I'm not sure if that changed or not, but
that's the same here, man.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not meeting the same Japanese and Chinese that did stuff towards me or my family, right? So I can't hold anything against Japanese or Chinese people. So
yeah, but if they held the ideology of what those nations did to Koreans, then that would be different, wouldn't it?
I just don't. I really don't really care. Because at least I know what their thought process is, what they're going for. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I won't agree with it, and I'll say, hey, these guys want to kill you guys. Yeah, you might want not to hang around there.
I don't disagree with him having his opinion, and what I disagree with is what is mainstream media giving him an outlet to voice those ideas and ideals,
Well,
you know,
that's what mainstream
and
media does. Is they just
then fall back on their sword and say, "Oh, we didn't know," and then if you do one Google search of this dude, you'd find all the Nazi propaganda stuff that all you needed. You know what I mean?
I think it's overblown. I don't think there's really that many Nazi supporters. They just don't like this current status quo and system. And that's mainstream media. All they want to do is push either propaganda, narratives, lies, division.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. I don't disagree with that. That's.
Give me a second.
I
Let's
mean,
spit out
that's
my sunflower seeds. I've
yeah.
been on a sunflower seed kick.
That's something that which is scary. You know what I mean? The creeping back of these ideologies is what's scaring me the most.
Well, I think it's good. I know you always think things are bad. I always think things are good and freedom and all that jazz because people are starting to see how ideologies, no matter what they are bad. Because you're only thinking one way and you're dividing, and all these ideologies in the past and all these ideologies in the current time and all these ideologies that may occur in the future, they've always been bad. They are bad and they will be bad. So we gotta stop going forth with ideological types of ideals.
Yeah, I just. But these ones are coming back, though. I mean, they've always been there, and the thing, I guess, with the internet is people are getting a voice, and people can. It's different from, say, back in the 60s and 70s, where Nazism came back a bit. To say, oh, you go down to your local pub, or you go down to your local whatever, someone's house in the basement. Now they can just get all that information online. And that's the scary thing, is this information can be spread wide and fast. And we might be going backwards instead of forwards.
Yeah. But people, good thing about going backwards, people know how it was in the going backwards, so they're familiar with it. I don't think a lot of people really support it. A lot of it's, again, mainstream media. More people see it, and so they either get really supportive of it or they get really not supportive of it. And that it's only one way or the other.
So I've got this from The Guardian, and I take Guardian with a grain of salt. Breaking: Sky News has banned far-right extremist Blair Cottrell from ever appearing on the station again. Suspended the show that hosted him and moved the news director into a new role. There you go. So he's not welcome back on the show. I mean,
it's their show, so they can do what they want.
Yeah. I don't see. I'm so conflicted. I'm really conflicted. Like, I'm hearing exactly what you're saying, and I'm agreeing with you. But on the other hand, I've had family who had to deal with the Nazis and how devastating that was. Just so conflicted, so conflicted.
I mean,
But I'm not usually this conflicted. Usually I'm just like, yep, that's it. No, that's it.
Yeah.
But now it's sort of like, Ebon's brought up good points. These people have brought up good points. It's just really hard.
Yeah.
So
the thing is, freedom of no matter what it is difficult, right?
Yeah.
Is you have all this freedom. It's just like I don't know what your age limits are in Australia for being able to drive or being able to smoke or being able to drink or being able to gamble.
18.
Okay. Now, when you hit that age and you realize you got all this freedom now, sometimes you just go overboard and go, all right, I'm going to smoke all this. I'm going to drink all this. I'm going to put like my entire paycheck going to the casino. And then you realize, all right, all this freedom isn't what it's cracked up to be. You got to be pretty responsible or else everything's just going to go to waste.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you. Yeah. I'm just grappling with it at the moment. Like I'm very much for free speech, but when you start bringing in things in like Nazism and stuff like that, then it's so hard to justify the free speech. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just really hard to justify it. So what can I say?
And
it's hard.
One of my conspiracy theories that I don't really mention that much is that I think the system or the governments set up these types of issues, especially in mainstream corporate media, to get people to start thinking, hey, free speech isn't all great. Because you still get all these people talking about, hey, let's bring Nazism back, yay racism, or yay sexism, or yay pedophilia, yay whatever, right? And you don't want to listen to these people because what they say is horrible stuff. But at least you know where they're standing, so you can oppose them and argue against it, and just know that these are people you probably wouldn't want to hang around with.
Yeah. See, our media's got a charter that they have to abide by. Mm-hmm. So, especially the ABC, he would never get on the ABC in a pink fit. He would just never, ever see the light of day. Actually, he's been on the ABC, but he wasn't on the news. He was on a panel about multiculturalism, which is full of irony and hypocrisy, and it's quite funny to watch him blubber his way through it and have a hissy fit that he's not getting a fair try. But yeah, it just he just it's funny. He's all for preaching for what do you call it? Like moral standards and stuff like that. Mm. But he's been to prison.
For what?
Stalking, arson, burglary, and property damage. So he's a stand-up. He's a stand-up guy. Like he's a total stand-up guy. Like there's no one, remotely.
So to another point, I'm sorry I stand up for a lot of these proposed assholes or whatnot, but people who have been in prison or out of prison, in my opinion, they serve their time for even things like that. If it was done to me, I might have a different opinion on it because it was done directly to me. But for society, in society, he's done his time towards society. And that point, there are some people who have really had a bad start in their life, and they've come around, whether it's through religion, they found Jesus or whatever it is, and they spent a lot of their time just trying to make up for all the mistakes of their past. And that just makes them such a great person now. They forget what they were in their past. And so I get into these conflicting types of things too, is someone who just turns around their life around, just trying to make the world as good as they can, make up for all the mistakes they did in the past to all these different people that they know they can't do, but they still try whatever they can to actually do that. And that's great. But then there's those people who they still want to stick with being jerks, assholes, whatever it is that in society or towards someone else personally. And of course, I don't like that.
Yeah. I just think if you're going to preach morality, you've got to come from a moral standing. And I agree with you. If you've done your time, for the crime that you've committed, then you shouldn't really be. That shouldn't really be revisited. But if you're going to then start preaching morality to people, and it just, dude, unfortunately, your past will stick with you. And he did some shitty things, and he's the last person who should be preaching morality to people.
Well, he can always preach it like, was it Jesus or someone else that said it? Let he who has not sinned cast the first stone. He can always go from that perspective of preaching morality. That everyone's pretty much immoral at some point of time. All right, we got David Smarth. I think he might be a troll. Let's say hello to him real quick. Hi there, David Smarth. How's it going?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
There we go. How's it going?
Hey, it's you know who I am. I'm the mattress king.
Mattress King. How's it going?
It was interesting you're talking about. You called me a troll. I've been a troll, and I tried to make my recently. I tried to make my atonements for my trolling. Right?
Trust me, I've been a troll too.
Yeah, but the guy specifically I was trolling, I was doing his voice. He was an Asian guy. And there's a group of these guys together, and they're all trying to do YouTube, right? It's to some varying success. And I do that, but I don't get in front of the camera. I do like clickbait stuff that made money. I know how the algorithm works because, I told you I got an economics degree. I can do math pretty easily. It's like lazy math, economics, right? It's just calculus and sociology, but it's math nonetheless. So I gave them all the tips on how to, hack the algorithm if they want to be successful and make money.
Yeah.
And my ultimate sin among the whole group was telling the Asian guy, how to do it. I mean, it wasn't even that. It was very brief, like pointers. It wasn't like, and they all got mad. It's kind of ridiculous. They all hate me now.
Really? Are you talking about Jimmer Nation?
Jimmer Nation. This guy named, he calls himself saying Z. His name is Kyle something or another. He talks with a lift, and he does Opie and Anthony videos, and he was like within the Navy. He talks like this, and then unbleached. They all hate me now. So, it's just like I can't even atone for my sins of being a troll.
Wait, so the troll community that you helped have trolled you out?
I don't mean they can't troll me. I mean they can kind of dox me, I suppose, but it's almost impossible. I'm just making the point. I went to Catholic university, so part of it was like a theological study. You guys were talking about religion, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk. He who has not cast the first sin, throw the first stone.
Yes.
Part of the Bible where they're about to stone somebody to death. It's probably some kind of goes back to probably Babylonian stories. If you get into real, studying religion. So whatever, it's just been going on for 5,000 years. People probably reacted like this 5,000 AD. Somebody didn't like the cuneiform was done incorrectly or not to the proper god. Who knows? It's just human condition, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, even studying all that stuff, and I always look into it. It's just difficult because even the translations from whatever documents that you find, how do you know the translations are just right anyways?
That's why I call it faith.
Yeah.
But if you look at it in a macro sense, what are they basically telling you? Don't be a dick. Be nice to other people.
Yeah, but you don't need religion to tell you that.
You kind of do. I think it's human nature to be territorial. I mean, I believe in tribalism, and I think that there's certain things in your DNA that you've been programmed to, and you're fighting your DNA. You're an evolving organism, and I don't think we're, I think we're supposed to be in groups of maybe 200 people. And when you're in groups of 200 people, I think people function because they're there and they have a common goal. And like back uh 50,000 years ago is what, to get food and have shelter, and a tribe of people who were to that goal. But now that you solve the algorithm and you know how to live comfortably, or you have what's called civilization, I don't think our nature is to be inundated with all the stimulus.
Oh yeah, I mean, we used to. I feel like there's been this shift between the 1984 version to the what's the one with
the other guy who's talked about how
Aldous Huxley,
people weren't going to be 1984. They're just going to be so complacent with the ease of life that they'll slowly be droned into being puppets, servants.
Yeah, compliant.
Whatever.
Yeah,
compliant.
A Brave New World. Aldous Huxley. That's right.
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, it's true. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, but from our perspective, and I've been other places that are not as hospitable as it is, and it sucks to be in Guatemala. It's not the same. It sucks to be in someplace in Africa, West Africa, South Africa. It sucks to be.
Oh, that's a crazy situation in South Africa right now.
It's Africa in general for the past 1,000 years has been a crazy situation.
Yeah.
I remember, like, you're a kid and your mom goes, eat your food because so-and-so and so country is starving. And, if you have like an analytical mind, you think, well, yeah, that's true. I mean, what are the odds that I'm here in this particular city in the United States? And you look at, you look up facts, how many billions of people in the United States and where you're at, how many people in your population, and what the odds were that you were born where you're at. And I guess they say it for you to eat your food, and for you to feel sympathy for the people being over there. But I kind of feel that with people being in touch with other people so rapidly and seeing that, I mean, there's got to be winners and losers. There's finite resources. And if I was born because I got the lottery ticket in the United States, is it wrong for me to feel like, well, I want to protect my position in the world because we are the 9? I mean, people talk about the wealthy and the 2%, the 1%.
Yep.
In retrospect, if you expand that to the whole world, everybody in the United States is in the top 1% or 2%. So I don't want to be at the bottom of that heap. I mean, and that's part of the human condition to not want to be that, going back all the way to the tribalism, while you get to groups of 200 and this person does this job and you learn the forwards and stuff like that. So it's a non-ending thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the way the system is set up. You're gonna, it's all about competition and if someone's gonna be getting something, the benefits of something, it's set up in a way where someone else isn't benefiting; they're losing.
Yeah, but if you were in a tribe of 200 people, somebody did something for the betterment of the 200 people, and they knew that they were doing it. That's the only way. It's still somebody has to be in charge, right? You have to have a chief.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think we've just been grown into a system where that's always been the case. The chain of command, the corporate system, the same way.
Yeah, but we wouldn't be here if it didn't work. We would never have evolved from whatever it was 100,000 years ago to what it is today.
Well,
that didn't work in the human condition.
Well, we know it's not really working well now. So
it works well enough for me. I mean,
yeah, I guess individual. Yeah,
it works well enough for me. It's working well enough for my brother, my sister, and most of the people in my family.
Yeah, it does work for people, like a small segment of people, and I would definitely be there if I didn't have these damn fucking morals sometimes. But that's what it is. And the thing is, I really would rather have a world where everyone can benefit with the resources that they have. despite what everyone says, it's not finite resources. Our
But
resources.
not at this point. I mean, some mathematician does a study. Was it? And if everybody in the world at the population of 7 billion people, if they all, I don't even know how true this is, but if they all had a track home, like a suburban home, you could probably fit them all inside of Texas.
Yeah.
So,
Texas
are we
is
really
huge, though.
overpopulated? But in comparison to the rest of the world, it's a small portion of the rest of the world, right?
So
Yeah.
how is everybody doing?
Good. How are you doing, Truth?
I'm taking it one step at a time. I've had a long week.
Were you able to
Really?
see the vigil?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
So, Ebon, I want to ask, because I'm kind of curious, what was the FBI ask? I mean,
Oh, so there's the Facebook. So I use Facebook just towards friends and family and stuff. I've usually gotten away with it, just not wanting to post stuff there. Just I don't want to post stuff on Facebook, but I kept it around just because I've got some pictures in there, and my mom uses my brother's account to see pictures of my kids. But yeah, so there's this original argument where my wife let my daughter walk the dog alone without any supervision in the backyard, even though our backyard's not fenced. And she told my daughter she's 4, to just walk the dog in the backyard only. Of course, what 4-year-old listens? So she's off walking further out, where I barely was able to see her when I was just walking up from my basement. And a couple things, like she doesn't really know. She doesn't know how to find the house in a different way. She doesn't know what to do in different situations. She would know to if the dog ran away, that she would come home first before just going after the dog. But anyways, she's just not ready yet. She's not trained to do that. So I was kind of pissed off with my wife, because I talked to her about it. She's like, "There's nothing I did was wrong." It's like, "What do you mean there's nothing that you did was wrong?" And I just went over the same points that I just did in my video about it. And then family members were like, "What do you take this down?" And all this other stuff. It's like, no, I'm not taking it down. And so I think he's trying to call me and whatever, and just said, "Fuck off." Maybe they called the cops or not. I told them the only reason I took it down was because everyone's giving. It was embarrassing for my wife, because all the comments that she was getting and all the stuff I was saying. So she asked me to take it down, so I took it down because she's my wife. I'll listen to her, do what she wants. And so I did another Facebook post calling everyone just dumbasses and cowards. That if I really was being abusive to my wife, then call the police. Call someone, come after me. Otherwise, I'm just the abusive husband. You guys aren't doing anything about it. So maybe someone did contact the FBI. But I don't know, because when I talked to the FBI, I asked them who contacted them to look me up. They said they can't tell me that information.
I don't think it's that.
Well,
my brother's in the ATF, and I don't think they would send him out for a domestic dispute.
Yeah. And the thing is, they knew that, because I mentioned in the past in YouTube or these live streams that one of the ways that we can make sure that we get the corrupt out is just go into Congress with an army of activists and make sure that if they do anything and just reveal the corruption, just ask for all the documents that should be open to the public that they're not, and to protect these people, just use our Second Amendment rights and be armed. That's our Second Amendment right. That doesn't mean go in and shoot up everything.
I think that somebody might have.
Yeah, it's misinterpreted.
Maybe somebody. I would think maybe that might have led to it. Like somebody walk off. They found your videos online and they clipped something together saying, "Go armed into Congress," and then they had to see you. Right?
Yeah,
that makes more sense. That makes.
I wear an NRA hat. I wear Gun Owners America hat. I've shown shotguns or whatever. Hey, it's my right. Even the FBI says it.
Are you in the NRA?
Yeah, I was. I'm a 5-year member.
What do you think about the I've been upset about the leadership of the NRA for like 8 years.
Oh,
And
longer
then
than
they
that.
did this stupid shit with the fucking Russian chick, and now they're pretty much gonna go away. And I feel like that was like an op that they had because the leadership is so stupid.
I feel like they've become a controlled opposition because they're saying that they fight for the Second Amendment, but then they'll go ahead and help pass gun control laws. And that's what
the interest they ever have in going into Russia and mingling with what does it matter that why is it because the guy was horny for the chick and got took? I mean, it was like the leadership has been kind of dead. Like it's been more than 10 years. The presidents, it's like they have a purpose to protect that right. There's no other group that protects that right, and they're just trying to codify it. And I think once you codify that right, you lose your First Amendment rights. So
yeah. Well, so anyways, long story short, FBI probably are watching after me. Just all the stuff I'm doing. I'm an activist now, and I'm an activist with some specialist skills that many people don't have.
You're in your basement. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to get you with that stupid thing. I put it in your thing. You lied to the FBI, Ebon.
Oh yeah.
Like they're trying to trip you up. That's what they do. That's the game they play. It seems.
Like if I just tell the truth and I do everything in public, what do I have to worry about? So I'm not worried.
I don't know. I don't know why in the United States they passed that law. How has it become perjury? That if you miss up a fact, like you said, for example, I mean, they did that with the HUD secretary under Clinton. He had a mistress and he paid her money. He said, I have a mistress, I pay her money. And they got him for lying to the FBI because he said he paid her this amount of money when he didn't pay her this actual other amount of money. So that's considered a breaking the law.
Yeah.
So
in the first Julian Unity for J Vigil, Lee Camp said it pretty good because he was saying how the police would go after you if you're protesting or something like that, and you have this list of charges. You have 3 or 4 charges, and one of them is resisting arrest. And then eventually they'll drop all the charges except the resisting arrest part. The weird thing is you wouldn't have been arrested and resisting arrest because those other charges are dropped. So the resisting arrest should have been dropped as well. They usually
what
keep
I don't
that
understand is these protests. How did they get so out of hand? It has to be orchestrated because people have been protesting forever.
Yeah.
And there's a guy, Martin Sheen, Charlie Sheen's father.
Yep.
He's protested forever and ever. He's a famous celebrity activist. And he's been arrested like 30, 40 times for what they would just go and sit in front of something or, civil disobedience, but not violent civil disobedience. And I don't understand why that's not what's going on. And whatever people are protesting at this point, why do they feel the need to get physical or dress up in mask and
the Antifa I feel are just paid
yes
opposition. Yeah, it has to be because they don't want to be seen. and you see a lot. I like a tweet someone posted a video of just these people who are just self-defense activists, Second Amendment, whatever. They're conservatives, I guess. That they said, hey, if they come at you with violence, just do the violence back at them. Use the same medicine. And you see them without masks. They're just wanting to protest. And then you see the Antifa people start becoming more threatening. And, of course, they're masked and whatnot. So they start getting in people's faces, pushing, whatever, punching. And then you just see them getting sprayed back with pepper spray and all this other stuff. And they're just walking away. And there's police there. There's police in their I don't know what you call it, their plastic battalion bulletproof gear, where they're just all black clad and they have the face protection masks and stuff like that, and they're just watching it. I don't know. I guess they're waiting for the point where someone's gonna actually maybe get killed and then they'll interfere.
That's odd too. That seems odd to me.
Yeah.
You think to me the biggest weapon is a cell phone. is a cell phone and your camera, and you know, just document every friggin' thing.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, what protected Sam Ronan. I don't know if he's still in, you know, in hot water or if he's fighting the thing, but anybody who has any, you know, suspicion of being followed or, you know, targeted or whatever,
Yeah.
I would imagine cell phone is the best weapon, not a gun.
Yeah. Here's the thing. What protects me is being out in the public. Now,
Right.
when I talked with the FBI agents, I asked if I could take a picture of us, just kind of public thing. They said,
Oh,
and they said no, because it would put them in jeopardy. It could put them in harm.
No, what stupid crap they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, more people would rather, I guess, attack me than they would an FBI agent, because FBI agent imposes, no matter what, a prison sentence, a felony. You attack me, it could just be a misdemeanor, or kill me, it'll be manslaughter if it's not planned. But you kill a FBI agent or even attack them, that's felony. You're not gonna ever go manslaughter on an FBI agent getting killed. It's gonna be like first degree murder. So I just don't think that the FBI should be that scared. I mean, citizens are a lot scarier. Yeah.
I think they're. I don't trust them.
They're scared of being exposed, which is the whole, you know, deep state's scared of being exposed, which lends back to the whole Julian Assange thing and why he's considered a threat.
I think it'd be they're trying to get him, right. I mean, that clock was bound to end. The clock was ticking the moment he got into the embassy. That he's eventually, it was just a delay tactic. He was going to get sent to the United States.
I'm not sure about that. I mean, Moreno getting in the Ecuadorian presidential seat sure didn't help him. So, you know, I don't think that it was like predestined, but things just happened. So,
they cut off his internet like several times, even when Moreno wasn't president. It was just the amount of pressure that they're putting on him. I don't know, we call it political or outright threats, whoever is doing it. It was just a matter of time. But if he actually comes to the United States, he has to get a lawyer. He has some of the best lawyers on his team. They get to, I mean, he has his day in court, right? And
day in court for what?
At the end of the day, it's just a matter of if he's a journalist, then it's legal. If he's not a journalist, then he's a spy. So how are they going to prove that he's a spy in any court law? That, you know, unless you're completely thinking that, if you completely think that the whole system of the United States is corrupt, then it's like it can't be that corrupt.
My whole thing is day in court for what?
They're accusing him, but they're accusing him of doing it. It's obvious what they're going to accuse him of. Espionage or something like that, right? That's what they're trying to get him on, colluding with.
Well, I can accuse you of stealing my car. I mean, you don't need your day in court for that, because you know you were nowhere near my car. I mean, I don't really understand any charges that they could possibly bring against.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the charges are so ludicrous. If he gets a day in court, he gets exonerated. It seems like an open and shut thing. He's a journalist. There's so much precedent for journalists getting information and publishing it because they're journalists. Okay? That's what they do. And that's, you know, it's indisputable that he's a journalist. So if he gets his day in court, it's over with. You know, it might be protracted.
I see your point. That they can't get him on anything, so they just do whatever they can to prolong something that they don't really want to go through with, because they know they'd lose on the legal side.
Unless they're trying to kill him outright. I mean, they had that one guy who tried to climb the embassy, and then there's so many CCTVs in London that nobody got a picture of the guy who tried to crawl into the embassy.
Yeah,
it's like, right? I mean, so I think if I were him, and from watching this from afar, I would want to go to to publicly go to like the New York Times or I don't know whom in some place and say, I'm turning myself in, take me to court, and I'll have my charge me with what you want to do. I'll just show up in the United States and say, charge me, and then go with the trial if you have charges and charge me, right? That's what I would do.
Yeah, but they may not. They may not even do that. They may label him as a terrorist, and there he goes. He's going to get.
How is he a terrorist? What terrorist thing did he do?
It doesn't matter. They can just say, hey, he's a threat.
I mean, no, but once you're in the United States,
Mhm.
and you're right now, you're the big argument of the left versus the right. One of the big arguments is that illegal citizens need to get constitutional protection. So this guy is actually going to have to. He's a journalist. He runs a journalistic thing. There's no doubts about that.
Yeah.
You know, who's Guccifer? Who's that? I would want my day in court to advocate for what my point is.
Right.
The ironic thing about this is that WikiLeaks and Julian Assange led to the awakening of many people, and the fact that now we do not distrust the government. And turning myself in to the government, I am trusting that they're going to the system is going to work. I don't trust the government.
But how does a trial work? How does a
rules.
trial work? You get to pick a jury, right? If O.J. Simpson could murder 2 people and get off, you don't think that there's some possibility that this guy could get charged and not get convicted of
habeas corpus, dude?
All right. Anything else?
No, I don't trust.
I know you guys all as a group here don't. Your whole point here is you don't trust the government. That's why you're in this group, right? You don't trust the government. I don't trust the government. I don't do this.
Well, the government oversteps their boundaries at all times, and they create legislation where they don't have the consent of the people to make this legislation and pass.
And that's going against the people. They're supposed to be for the people, not against the people. That's why we need to kick out these like corrupted legislators.
Okay,
and you know.
But in the specific case for Julian Assange and WikiLeaks and keeping at a viable purpose that it's been serving for the last 10 years, right? I'm saying that his day in court is his best option. I understand that he's from Australia. He's spending time in Britain. But I, as a person who's grown up in this, judicial branch, the executive branch, the legislative branch, I believe that it's possible for him to face the charges and get off from the charges. And if he does that, you can't charge him again for the same crime. And he proves in court that he's a journalist and he's free to publish whatever he wants. If the Guardian can publish shit that they publish, and they're English, they're an English media group, there's nothing different fundamentally from shit the Guardian is publishing than what WikiLeaks is publishing. But the Guardian is free to do that because they are part of the deep state, or they're part of I don't know, Soros stuff. What? So go have your day in court and win your case, and then get free of it. I don't think he's gonna get sat. I would just turn myself in to, but that would have been that's what I would have done.
I wouldn't turn myself in.
I think Julian would be dead before he got his day in court. I think that they would kill him while they had him in custody.
How would that happen?
Oswald.
Hillary Clinton was going, can't we just drone him?
Okay, but how is that? If he shows up, if he can be snuck out of the Ecuadorian embassy and shows up in a city in the United States in front of the courthouse and says, I turned myself in, I'll face my charges with his lawyers,
But there are no charges, though.
That's
you think that he's gonna, a drone like is going to come and blow him up like they try to do with the Venezuelan president?
What have they charged him with?
Yeah, all the charges against him have dropped.
I'm just saying
You think
that
they're gonna spirit him off to the Guantanamo Bay, and this.
What I'm saying is that that this government has a history of murdering people in custody, like they did to Oswald. Because
that happened in 1964. Okay, what else do you have?
I know that there's a history. You even have these.
Okay, can I have another example besides 1964?
Sandra Bland. That's the first one that comes to mind. I think, she was killed.
Yeah, I only have a couple of mysterious deaths that happened in an airplane, like Paul Wellstone or Ron Brown or people like that.
They were in police custody, and they were murdered in an airplane.
Again, like Evan said, Clinton just went along and said, "Oh, how about we just drone him?"
Okay, what power does she have? She's gonna go put a hit on somebody.
She has power. Oh no! She may not be the president, but she has power.
All right. So
Evan, it's been a pleasure. I gotta go.
Into a federal agent.
Thanks for stopping by, Dave.
For example, my brother's a federal agent. My brother's a federal agent. He's in ATF. So if Julian Assange surrenders himself to him, you're saying my brother is going to get an order from Hillary Clinton, who he hates, and murder Julian Assange?
Doesn't have to be him, does it?
Oh God! So my brother who hates Hillary Clinton and likes a lot of stuff that Julian Assange has done is going to sit there and they're going to get past all these people. I think that it's so polarizing at this point. A good portion of the people, I think more than 50% of the people who are in any walk of life are for him, and less than 50% of the people are. So you got the natural thing of people who I like what you've done, but sure, I'm going to turn my eye because I'm a corrupt person. And even though I went serve my country, and in case my brother went off, we both went off to the war. We've come back. We're working in civilian life. He's still in law enforcement, and he's going to allow that to happen.
All I'm saying
it's entertaining. I talked to Ebon about this. There's an entertainment factor to this. We can all pretend because we like fiction, right? But
all it takes is one person. One person to sneak up behind and pull the trigger.
So you like the idea of the limbo he's in, forever and ever and ever and ever.
A limbo. I'm sorry, I've never successfully done that.
You know what limbo is?
It's a tough situation no matter what, because even one of the things that one of the presidents wanted to do in Ecuador, I can't remember the name, but they wanted to make Julian Assange a political figure or representative. That way, they have diplomatic. They would have diplomatic immunity, and
they try to make him give him citizenship and call him a diplomat so he can leave.
Yeah,
and that got kiboshed because this guy got. But the other president was there. He could have done it. Mm-hmm. Anytime prior to the changing of the president, he didn't do it. If he wanted to do it, then he could have done it. He can say, "Yup, I'm giving him citizenship."
But we know that there's. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. But he didn't do it.
Yeah, we know there's
pressures. There's pressures pushing against him.
Yeah, political pressure from the United States government.
But why do they have pressure?
They can control a lot of things as far as trade.
They get government aid from the United States.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
They get government aid from the United States.
Yeah.
So I ask you this, okay? Like the fantasy of fantasies, and even Julian Assange by being in the Ecuadorian embassy. So he gets spirited away by fucking the Avengers of the activists and Captain America and fucking the Scarlet Witch. Pull him out in a Quinjet and take him all the way to freaking Ecuador. So you think that he's going to be living in Ecuador and he won't get killed there in a third world country where the cost of living is, I mean, it's a third world country, right? I mean, you're kidding me. He's got better odds of being in hiding out in Ecuador than turning himself into the legal system of the United States and getting his day in court. I find that kind of odd that you guys would think that.
I'm just saying that this government, it's unpredictable. That's what I'm saying.
How unpredictable is the government? How, in your specific life, are you from the United States, Mr. William? How unpredictable has it been for you?
Well, I haven't been around the sun too many times, but
I've been around the sun 40 times. So how unpredictable has it been for you?
I don't know. I mean, the guy who says you're fired all the time is the president, so I don't know. But
Bill Clinton was president, and do you believe he was a good...
I was not of
The only good thing that happened that he got a blowjob and lied about it.
but that's about
that's
it.
True. That's, I guess. That's
I mean,
a blowjob in the office and
I don't know
fucking
how old
lied.
you are. Do you want to tell me how old you are?
Oh, I'm 30.
No, William.
19.
Okay, 19. Okay, I feel bad that you're 19 because you've grown up and since 2001 in the world the state it's in. Okay, it was not like this. You've been inundated with the social media stuff. A lot of us here lived prior to this, and it was a lot different. and it kind of took a turbocharge after 9/11, and that's a real thing. Okay, it made people more aware because that happened in the United States, and we were all kind of in the Western world, kind of like, okay, we were kind of like asleep to the crud of the rest of the world, but the rest of the world's been going through cruddy stuff like that forever. And I feel bad that you don't know any different. But it was kind of different.
Yeah, I just I don't trust what the government does, and yeah, that's I guess that's why people on the internet call me a right-wing conspiracy theorist. That's what I get.
Welcome to the club, Truth.
Just keep lecturing labels and just spew a bunch of fucking nonsense because of the fake news from the idiot box. The lecturing. It's
always been idiots. I was talking to Ebon about this the other day. Okay, let's go back to the founding fathers. Who was giving the news? I mean, there was like you had to own a printing press. You had to be literate to understand what was being put in the news. And somebody would read it to you in some tavern, and if you were illiterate, you have to trust what they told you and what they interpreted. And was Benjamin Franklin giving you the real truth, or was he printing what he thought would benefit him or his friends? It's always been that way, I think.
I think when it comes to Franklin,
okay,
he's probably the most progressive of all the
we don't know
founding fathers.
We just know it's
from what he said about himself, from what he publicly stated way back when.
Okay.
That's what I go off.
Go way back though, and you really think about
that. Like we don't know if the Greek philosophers actually.
All right. Have you ever written a blog post or a Twitter post that didn't represent your real life?
No.
Okay.
Never.
I
use my real name here.
I'm right here.
I use my real name here. I use my real name on Facebook. I use my real name on YouTube. I use my real name in Twitter. I use my real name everywhere. I don't give a fuck.
Okay. Yeah, my name. So you don't think a person is never inaccurately described themselves when they're writing about themselves? You think a person is?
Oh yeah, I look like Brad Pitt.
I just,
there's a term used in literature and stuff like that. It's called an unreliable narrator, and everybody, and there's and so if he's even authoring his own self, there was people who hated him when he was Benjamin Franklin, and they wrote shit about him. So there's what I think, there's what you think, and then there's the facts of what happened. And then there's everybody's perception of what they're seeing happened. So
Again,
I guess he was a great guy, but my whole point being is that you're saying this is fake news. I'm saying there's really never really been real news if you look at it from the perspective of the printing press and in 1777.
Well,
How many literate people were
so,
around?
One of the things that you can always look into different perspectives is like personal letters, when they have personal letters to someone else, because they don't really expect that those personal letters to actually be out in the public. But then they become president, then they die, then their family inherits what they have, and they say, hey, this should probably be in a museum and all this other stuff. So a lot of good stuff can be found in these letters of all these famous presidents or legislators or politicians in the past.
Yeah, but what was he printing in his newspaper?
Yeah, that of course. I'm just saying that there are some avenues where you can try to glean a more accurate version.
The guy is a founding father, and at the end of the day, in a large part, he helped create he made the Constitution, or he contributed to the Constitution. He contributed to the creation of the United States. So yeah, he's a great guy. But what I'm saying is, what was the truth and what wasn't the truth, right? I mean, it's just hyper exaggerated because people don't unplug from social media.
And once the generations have passed, there's no way of verifying whether what someone wrote was true or not. It's now history.
It's history from the winner's perspective.
Yeah.
Just
go ahead, Truth.
But you can't let all that. I mean, I feel sympathy towards you because Ebon, myself, I don't know if Ryan but we grew up when you could just not hear the news. You could just go to the library and sit and read a book. You can go to the movies or go to the mall and sit on a bench, and you weren't pressured. When the whole thing going down with Monica Lewinsky was going down, that was like a once a week thing, maybe, right? If it was like today, that would have been a 24-hour news cycle. They would never have relented. He might not have made it through his second term. I think did it come out like in his first term that the scandal broke, and he still got reelected president, and then they kept investigating it. I mean, it would have not.
It initially started as Whitewater.
Yeah, but the FBI question, that's what they got him on for the impeachment, right? The FBI was questioning him, and I did not have sexual relations, and he tried to play the lawyer thing. And Ebon, if they come back, try to be your best. If the FBI comes back, try to be your best lawyerly guy and talk in ambiguities. Don't say like specifically like facts and numbers and dates. It's like, I think it's around that date that I said this, and I might have said something like this, like Bill Clinton, because that's not going to trip you up. If you go, well, you said this, and I don't recall. I think that's how you got to play that. You
can't self-incriminate yourself. Oh, before you go, Truth. So 631, who is this?
It's Dave. It's IO again.
Oh, okay. Hey, Dave. Go ahead, Truth. Sorry.
It's okay. Okay. It's I don't know if something's true or not, and I know I've been dead wrong about stuff before. But when I read things from Franklin, quote unquote Franklin, or when I read things from Plato or Aristotle or Diogenes, I don't know if like this is the objective truth, really. Not necessarily sure, but it's like we don't know if Plato and Aristotle and Diogenes were actually real people. We go off the texts from history that we read off of. So there's today when you have a device and you can just look around for stuff to see if you can confirm any tales you've been told. But I don't know how we got
The
off
news
on
is
that.
pretty bad, but I think the news was just as bad when I was in the '90s. But I didn't know better, and I just went on with my life. And you're suck. It sucks for you because you don't have that luxury of not knowing.
Yeah, it's in your face 24/7, William, with smartphones and computers, and they have news and HDTVs playing everywhere, like in lunchrooms if you're at work or in college campuses, cafeterias. It's in your face 24/7.
Yeah, like
It's
I go to the VA hospital, and it's of course it's Fox News because there's a lot of vets there. But it's on every TV. I mean, why does it have to be that? It could be something else. Why not the Weather Channel? You know?
it makes
Who
everything
needs TV anyway?
Oh.
it makes everything easy. It makes finding information easier to find, which means maybe the
dependent.
information's going to be factually incorrect, but it's still easier to find it.
But
Well, easier to find, but you know, the delivery system is flawed because the delivery system is controlled by people that may or may not have our best interests at heart. Let's just put it that way.
do a
don't.
Google search for
So-
Unity for J. You won't see any mainstream media cover. You'll get 2 pages of results, 3 maybe.
Right. I actually did a YouTube search for Julian Assange, and there was one. I think it was by Huffington Post. I'd have to check it again, but there was one article, okay, and it was about him being cleared of rape charges, and the way that it was worded, you know, rape charges dismissed or something like that. Julian Assange's rape charges dismissed. Now, okay, the first words you use are Julian Assange rape charges. So immediately, you know, you're going to have that in your head. So, you know, there's a thing right now about, you know, what are the major myths or falsehoods about Julian Assange. I think that one of the things is that Julian is not relevant. That's one of the things that the press, by not reporting on him, that is the narrative that they're given, that he's not really important, or as Moreno's saying, he's a pebble in his shoe. You know, he's just a nuisance. I don't think so. So I have to say, I mean, David was saying that we don't trust the government. There's a reason that we don't. I mean, we've been doing this for well over a year, and for months and months and months, we were talking about, you know, who the new guy was going to be. Bernie. You know, we were going to follow him. We were going to follow this. Oh, if only this Democrat gets in. Oh, who's going to be in the next election? Oh, we have to really push and push and push. I did a few political interviews, and, you know, people were like, oh, we got to get this guy and this guy. You know, I'm questioning that now. And part of it is due to the information that I am getting. And the information that I'm getting, it's coming straight from sources, straight from the government themselves, what they're saying. So, yeah, and it's not all attacking one side either. So, you know, I gotta for the WikiLeaks is the most reliable information system that I have seen. Mainstream media, and even to a certain extent, independent media, is not the most reliable thing on the planet at all times. So, you know.
Another thing that I think I was looking through the 1.0 Vigil for Unity for J, and one of the things that I remember someone saying is that this is pretty new, because before we didn't have to really think about whether the information we're getting is disinformation or straight up real information. We were just kind of fed into it, and we really didn't have resources available to go look into it and dig deeper. But now we got the internet.
Right.
So we've got people who have access, who have their own independent searching of whatever it is that people are looking at, whether it's in a historical context or conspiracy context, whatever, religious context, I'm sorry. And it's just something really new that people aren't really, no one is really inundated with or really experienced with.
Do you think that
I think
in the United States, if they restored the fairness doctrine that Reagan got rid of, that it would help?
No.
Why?
No. Because there's always, the system's always been the same. I mean, the laws are put in place for fairness. By the way, I love, you know, laws that are named stuff like that. You know,
it just means equal time.
The fairness doctrine, or
it just means
no child left behind. You know,
well, the fairness doctrine just means that if a person is in a political party and you couldn't have they'd have to give equal time to the opposing view. That's all it means. How it's sold, that's some politician who wrote it, but it worked. And you didn't have the talk radio is all right wing. The cable media is all left wing. It worked up until it was removed, and that you were able to have more of a civil discourse discussion. Right now, you don't have that, and so
it just keeps piling on because Bill Clinton passed the telecommunications bill, where they can pretty much media can be monopolized. So heck, you can have probably Fox News, and you do see it. Fox News might have it. They have someone who's kind of left and someone who's kind of right, and they have their own. They're controlling both sides of the conversation. And
that's part of it too. That money, the people with money. I'll throw the Kochs out there just for the hell of it. You know, the Kochs will pad both sides of the ideologies. They don't care about the ideology. They'll buy both sides of the spectrum. They don't care. They'll, as long as they get control, they will contribute to both Trump and Hillary or whatever. And yes, I know Trump's Kochs might be a bad example because Trump's dissing him now, but does it matter? Yeah, I mean, if you have that much money, you can influence anybody. I don't really see. I don't see the. I mean,
well,
it doesn't matter. That whole thing doesn't matter. What
Ebon brought up was what Bill Clinton did, and what I brought up was what Reagan did. I think that contributed to why even a person like Julian Assange has to exist. How the media became so bad in the United States. It's because what Reagan did and then what Clinton did. You got consolidation of the media. There's no real independent media. There's 5 companies that control all the media, right? And
no, that's true.
And then they don't have to have equal time, right? Equal time doesn't mean that you're opposing it's the Republican and the Democratic Party. If there was a third party person like the Green Party, right, then they would have to get equal time to present their view. That's what the fairness doctrine, by being eliminated, you don't get that.
Well,
so we don't have a viable third party here.
When did we have a viable third party with the doctrine? I mean, I'm in the Green
parties
Party.
in the past. There's a Bull Moose Party. I could go historical. Teddy Roosevelt was a president. He was a Republican, became the Bull Moose. There has been at times viable third parties. You can laugh about it, but there has been viable third parties. I'm telling you that because the media is consolidated, it's easy for them to be manipulated, and because there's no fairness doctrines where a person has to have equal time, right? And because the presidential debates are controlled by the media, and they don't have to give time to a third party, all that contributes to there not being an effective third party. If I tell you,
there is a way around it. I mean, there's loopholes almost everywhere, because nonprofits, if you're going to go into politics and you're a nonprofit, you have to give equal time to any candidate. So if any candidate wants to get on, whether it's Green Party or independent or a Republican, if you really want to cater to Democrats, you have to give them access. Otherwise, you're going to lose your
No, because the way they do the debates and every one of these channels.
No. Yeah, those are corporate. But if you want to operate in nonprofit status, you have to abide by those rules. But what a lot of these corporations do is they have their nonprofit side and they have their corporate
I'm just
side.
saying that I'm just trying to look at it the way I look at stuff.
Mhm.
And I kind of try to look at things pragmatically, and I look at historically, and I see that the problem. What did everybody say about the internet? It's the democratization of this, that, and the other, right? And now that's being taken away. It worked, right? It worked for a little while, and now that it became too effective, you go to Google, you Google Julian Assange, and you get a bunch of bullshit from mainstream media. I having a person who's making money off of the algorithm, I know how it works, and they gamed this algorithm, and it wasn't working like this even 18 months ago, where if you Google any political, social topic, you're going to get returns that they want you to see, right? And that's where we're at. So there is no democratization of the internet. It happened. It was maybe a 4-year period, and now it's all crap. We're getting what they want to see, so we don't even have that. So there needs to be...
Eben, I have a question for you, because my head is fuzzy on the topic of the CIA and the news media, and I'm talking about print media. Back, decades ago, there have been examples of the CIA planting stories and that kind of thing. So it's not
either Woodward or Bernstein were directly manipulated by the CIA. That's a provable fact. I don't know which one it was, but it might have been both. But they're both agents.
I believe it was Woodward. I believe it was Woodward.
Yeah.
From what I remember, I'm not positive on it, but I believe it was Bob Woodward.
Yeah, but when you're thinking about that, media, print media as it was, people say it died with the advent of the television, and they want to put it to the 70s, and then the internet killed it off, right? And the internet had this viability from 2000 until, let's say, Trump was elected, because that's strictly from the internet or what have you. And now that didn't go the way they wanted it, they're killing that with the algorithm.
The internet was a tool. The internet was a tool for the military initially, so it wasn't completely ours to begin with.
But it worked for about 10 years, 15 years, where it was increasingly the democratization of people's opinions and people to supersede the 5 corporations that are controlling the media. They were being out. First of all, print media was dying, and now television was dying. But television has viability up until Google came around with YouTube. And the whole point of YouTube, the reason they were giving me large sums of money to do clickbait and other people like PewDiePie to do his bullshit show where he gets 200 million people a month to watch, is because it was changing the culture, right? To go away from even the 5 wasn't good enough. They only want 1. So everybody who's coming up that are 19 years of age, like William, they don't know what TV is. And where are they going to go to get their media? on visual media. We're on YouTube right now, but is Ebon's content being served up? It's being black. It'll never get served up. Independent thoughts, it'll be there, but it won't be seen. You have to actively look for it to find something like this, right? I mean, at one point, you guys probably all remember, if you live in the United States, when the cable systems first started, it was like a regional thing in your city, and there was a company that provided the cable, and because of that, the FCC and the government made it where they had to have public access, right? And everybody had a public access channel where anybody, citizen of that city, could go in and produce their own show so they can be seen, broadcast on that system.
Yeah.
Right?
Ironically, my town actually is the only town in my immediate area that doesn't, and we're fighting for it.
Yeah. But that was
No.
only because the FCC and the government at the time said that you can have it, right? So you have public access, but that's necessarily going to be seen. But you had the ability, and now that's not even there. You've consolidated. So if it's just Google and YouTube, who's controlling people like the next generation who are going to it for information, and they can game it with an algorithm what you're going to see. They had it wide open because they wanted people like me to have, and bigger than me to change the culture of the upcoming generation. They've given me close to $1 million and I've taken it, right? All right. And I'm just nobody. And they've given millions to other people. And it's to change the culture of how people are consuming information. And it's just going to be one person. And we know for a fact that one is a Russian guy who worked who did they work for? Stanford or for someplace in California? I think it was Stanford, right? They're from Stanford. And another guy, they came up with the algorithm for the search engine, and they were licensing it out to the college. But who gave the money for the research? Because they were doing actual research, computer research for the original Google algorithm. So was it the government who came up with it? Was it the plan of the government to centralize everything to Google? It seems like it's me. Oh.
So what's happened?
I don't know. I guess I talk too much.
I knocked myself out, I guess.
Huh?
For a little bit. I was knocked out for a little bit.
That's kind of late. Everybody's...
Yeah.
I just think I still think Julian Assange should just turn himself in. That's what I think.
Wait, we're still on that.
I don't even know we're still on the air. Let me look.
I kind of still see it. But,
what do you think? What do you do when you go watch TV or watch something? You go to YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, I've looked into a lot of stuff. I like to watch really old movies. Sometimes I was just watching this movie called Privilege. It's a very old movie, 60s, or yeah, 60s, and I don't know. It was pretty shocking. Movies like that and The Running Man.
They made pretty good movies in the 60s. There was like just before, you know, it wasn't the blockbuster thing you see today. We were watching freaking superheroes. I feel embarrassed for them when I see them because they're wearing these outfits that I wore when I was like 5 or 6, and they're on screen and they're pretending to be a superhero.
Yeah, but I often like go to Netflix too, but I just right as soon as I just found out that now the Obamas have stock in Netflix, I'm just starting, and I'm starting to see it in my shows, the influence of that stock. because I haven't seen a single show where Obama's name is not mentioned. Not yet.
Really? I stopped Netflix a long time ago when they started getting rid of old movies and old TV shows, and they're just pushing their own content. I was like, oh well.
I mean, I've been a really passionate follower of the Marvel stuff that they do on there.
Me
Yeah,
too. I liked it for a little bit, but it kind of gets depressing, doesn't it?
depressing.
They're just always getting beat up, and
I just think that in order to sell something, you have to make it edgy. I don't know.
It is edgy.
Because
Like
in the Jessica Jones one, they
I like that first season. That second season,
she has her, her mom's dead, and Trish killed the mom. I don't know. I liked it. I like it because it has that scenery.
I guess it's serving a thing, but I've heard like a lot of girls who don't get along with their mom, and that's like, oh, this is what that whole season was.
Just an interesting thing happened. So my wife woke up. She was saying if I was playing with my keys with the car alarm, because the car kept going beep 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 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I went out and walked a dog. Nothing seemed weird. But yeah. Anyways,
Think somebody touched your car?
Maybe. I don't know.
You're out there in the sticks, right?
Yeah.
The country.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, David, I just wanted to say this about the whole turn yourself in thing. Okay, I don't know what would happen. I don't think anybody really does, because a lot of these things are just done in secret without anybody's knowing about it. So that's also a thing. But if I was in Julian Assange's position, and I'm deemed an enemy by the government and politicians who have held high office and currently holding high office, called for my execution, I wouldn't be too comfortable turning myself in. That's just my take.
All right, guys. It's getting really late for me. I want to get some rest.
Has there been a politician that said that I like what Julian Assange has been doing, like a senator?
I don't think there's been a senator that's done that.
Bernie.
I think Bernie's a full-on Russiagator.
Right. We'll continue this conversation tomorrow night and every other night. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thanks for having us, Evan.
No problem. You guys are always welcome. Even the Mattress King. Just kidding. Joking. Yeah, I mean, not joking that you're not one. Never mind. All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks.